Hey, what's up guys? This is Jeff with Gamestork, and I wanted to give my impressions of the leaks of the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom battle. So here's my discussion on it.
Gamestork, delivering news, reviews, and playthroughs like a newborn baby.
So I've been thinking about this game today, and I have been really excited about the idea of this concept for a long time. Super Mario RPG being one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite game, was a collaboration between Squaresoft at the time, and Nintendo. Which was something that was just kind of weird, and people looked at it and they were like, oh, that's an RPG. I remember leading up to that game, and there was a lot of naysayers out there, and people that were like, this is just the stupidest thing we've ever seen. Well, come to find out, it was a lot of fun. It was turn-based, and it was one of those games that stuck with me for life. Like the fond memories of the characters like Gino and Mallow, and the awesome battles, the challenge, and really just a lot of great characters, good story. The entire thing was really, really good and very well done. And going into this game, I can't help but to pull some from that and saying, you know what, even though this kind of seems off the wall, it does kind of resemble the lead up to the other game. Aside from the fact that this is Ubisoft making this game this time. Now, I will say this. This does look like the setup at least looks like it is set up just like the other Super Mario games. And what I mean is that one overworld like the grassland or the desert or the ice world or things like that. So it looks like in this photo that they're going through one of the overworlds, and perhaps they go into the levels. Now we know in this game that they straight said on the pictures that this is 65% turn-based combat and then 35% exploration, which has me excited, which means there's a lot of turn-based combat, which means in my mind, knowing the level of quality Nintendo demands for their products, that they've invested a lot of time in mixing up this combat scheme, making it where you can do a lot of different things in there and keeping it interesting for you. Now, power leveling system would be great. There's a lot of cool ideas that could go with this, and I'm really excited about the concept, and honestly, I'm really excited going in. Now, to go further, looking at the pictures so far, I really like the art direction. I think that it's really, really great. It's cartoony. It's a little bit more cartoony than your average Mario. If you do look at the images, you'll see that the characters do look a little bit different. Mario looks different, but they look really animated, and they look really, really good. This thing looks great. Even the Rabbids in there dressed like the characters, it makes sense. If you've watched the Rabbids, now this is one thing that I initially went into not excited about, because my kids started watching Rabbids, and I was like, oh no, not these guys again, goodness. So essentially I was made to watch the show just repeatedly, just over and over and over, all these episodes of the 2 seasons that are out there. And in doing this, one thing I noticed about the Rabbids, number one, is that they're the most curious make-believe creatures on the planet. And number two, they copy anything that they see that seems cool to them. And so, thinking about the Mario characters and like the Rabbid dressed like Mario's, the Macho Man as label, I think that they're really going to bring more life to them trying to copy the characters from Nintendo. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see them and what they do and how they copy and all. And I can imagine this being very, very comedic in its presentation. Now, as far as hours, I was kind of impressed a little bit, but I'm also worried by the number of hours that this game says that it has, which is 20 hours of gameplay for the story. Now, I don't know if that's being conservative for them or if they're stretching that to the max and that's all the exploration that you could do. Now, 20 hours is a pretty solid amount of time, right, for a Mario game. Or of any of these games of this nature. Now, the thing about it that worries me is the fact that there are only 4 worlds. That's right, 4. Now, we don't know what all the worlds are. We know that there's what I guess you would call a grass world that it showed in the picture at the beginning. But we still don't know what they are. And only being 4 worlds, if we do a little bit of math here and say 20 hours divided by 4 worlds, that's 5 hours in each world. That means that there's a lot of time in each of those little places, which could be big places. We don't really know. But we did see that they were following a path which could lead to levels, or perhaps it's just an open world. We don't know at this point, but maybe they've done a whole lot to keep us interested. Now, they did mention in there that there were twists of some persuasion. I don't know. You know, when I hear twist, I always think back to The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Where you get to go into the dark world, I suppose you'd call it, on the Super Nintendo, and that was great. As great as that is, though, I don't know. I don't know what twist they're going to do to keep this interesting. And 4 worlds in a 20-hour game kind of has me a little bit worried. But that being said, I still have faith in this going in because of just what this is. Because Nintendo's not just going to let someone, especially at this point where they are as a company, they're not just going to let somebody grab their assets and just toss them into a game like this and just be callous about it. Nintendo's going to have some say over the quality control of this, and ultimately they're going to say, we license this. We give this a thumbs up. We're extremely excited about this game, and I'm certain that at this point they are, especially considering this game is probably close to, if not all the way finished and ready to begin marketing once they announce it at E3. I will say, though, thinking about RPGs, we think back to Final Fantasies, we think of just a whole bunch of stuff, man, you name it. And typically they're all set in large open worlds. And from what the description says in this game, this one looks like it's a bit more structured than the typical RPG game. And that could be very good, or it could be very bad. It could help us to not necessarily set the game on rails, but to keep us within the bounds of a certain expected experience so that we enjoy what we're playing. And, with something like this where you're not directly controlling the characters, we don't really know what we're getting into in the first place. And we're kind of putting our faith in them, this new kind of style of gameplay, not really knowing what to expect, to make something that's great, that's interesting, that pulls us in, and then blows us away. And, Ubisoft is a extremely good company, and Nintendo is the best at making games. Let's face it. They have the best, longest-lasting IPs, and if you don't want to believe that, take your favorite game from any other company, and then take any Legend of Zelda, and go trade those in at GameStop. Don't really trade them, just go see what they're worth, and you'll see which one holds its value. Go get on Amazon and look at Super Mario Galaxy, or go look at Super Mario Sunshine, right? And you'll see that those are probably going to be full price, as opposed to other games losing their value. And why? It's because they're timeless games, timeless characters. These are things that get us excited. And as great as Breath of the Wild was at the beginning of the life cycle of the Switch, Mario sells systems, and it's coming. Oh, it's coming. And not only is Mario Odyssey coming, it looks like this Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom battle is coming. And so we're going to see a lot of Mario in different ways this year, and it's really exciting to me. Not to mention Smash, which my guesstimation on is that Smash will come in 2018, so I'm not even going to get into that. But this game looks really, really solid. It looks really, really good. The characters, man, they look very interesting. What they put into it looks really good. The game plans, even the plan on these internal assets are really kind of over the top crazy. Go all in here and there. But the rating leads me to believe, I will say that, the Peggy 7 rating leads me to believe that they're not going to use any cuss words for Peach or any of that. That's probably more of an internal thing, or maybe a pitch that's to do with these leaked images. And it's really exciting. We'll just put it that way. I'm really stoked about this game. I have high hopes for this game, and considering how soon it's seeking to come out or to release, we can expect that there will probably be something playable at E3, so we might see this on the Treehouse stream. But I don't, you never know. You really don't. August or September, that's just a few months away. So this thing has to be, you're like, at the end of its creation. So we'll put it that way. This is one of those games, really, that if you just looked at this on paper and you honestly just read a synopsis of this, which we don't even know the story yet, or we don't know any of that, but it looks just kind of stupid. Let's face it. I mean, it's one of those that unless you just look at it and, you know, really understand the amount of love for the assets that Nintendo has, you know, and the control that Nintendo puts over the creation of those, you're not going to expect too much out of it. And I think Ubisoft respects the characters at Nintendo. I think that they love Nintendo, and they've shown that through their strong partnership, and we see that they can create really good retro experiences, which is not the same experience, but you know, through Rayman Legends and really a lot of games that they've made. And now they put out quality, they really do, and it's got me excited about them creating this game. I don't know what to expect with the combat. I don't know. Strategic combat sounds great. Just straight up turn-based combat sounds great. Whatever they want to bring, I'm willing to play. I'm really excited about it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this title. Anyways, sound off in the comments below, guys. Let me know how you feel about this. Are you excited about this game? Does it look like something that you pick up? Do you agree with me that if you were just reading it on paper, it might not seem as exciting as it looks? And you know, just whatever you want to talk about down there. There's been some interesting conversation lately on these videos, so be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. I certainly appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time.